Everything on? Great. What is up, you guys? Your boy Eli is back with another video. Me, OKC Thunder fan. You, probably a majority of you guys watching this video are also OKC Thunder fans, and there's possibly a mixture between NBA fans, regular NBA fans watching this video, or even NBA fans of different teams throughout all 30 teams in the entire league. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is, me as an OKC Thunder fan, to be honest with you guys, I'm not expecting too much from the team, as they just suffered a horrible, actually, I wouldn't say horrible, since they want this to happen. They tanked their way all the way down to the 14th seed to basically get better draft odds to play for the future, as obviously they're not trying to win right now. They're playing for the future. They're basically coming into this season playing for nothing but to lose. That's basically their entire plan, of course. And throughout that process, the OKC Thunder organization did the job of signing a bunch of young talented players to the roster to basically develop them majority through the second half of the regular season, since you could clearly see that they sat out a bunch of their starting players to bring in the second unit to basically get a general idea as to what these guys can bring to the table within an NBA team in a championship degree. And that is the job the OKC Thunder are currently doing, and I would say they're doing their job exceptionally well. And they're also doing a job of compiling a bunch of future draft picks to potentially draft great upcoming players within future draft classes. But with that being said, we're going to be doing another scouting video. There's a bunch of great talented players coming into this upcoming draft class coming into next season, and we're going to be scouting today Cade Cunningham, who is known as the projected #1 overall pick in this NBA draft for this upcoming season. Let's go. So just like the other scouting videos we have done in the past, we of course have Cade Cunningham's scouting report exclusively by the NBA 2021 NBA draft, his strengths, weaknesses, and player comparisons. Oklahoma State guard Cade Cunningham's combination of size and skill has him projected as the #1 overall pick, as we have already discussed in the 2021 NBA draft. But what is it about his game that has him separated from the rest of the class? And we're gonna find out later in this video. But before we start today's video, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. I post NBA controversial videos or even relatable videos that you guys may enjoy if you are a die-hard NBA fan. You guys can include the scouting videos and possibly NBA mixes. I'm thinking about it. But you guys also have the option to comment down below any future video topics that you guys may want to see. But other than that, let us begin today's video. By now, you have probably heard of Oklahoma State guard Cade Cunningham, projected as many as the #1 overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft. Fun fact, I even heard that he could be one of the few generational talents. I've heard that before from somebody. I don't remember who it was, but I heard it somewhere in some video. He could potentially be another generational talent, and that could change an entire NBA franchise. So if that's the case, if the OKC Thunder could potentially get him, he could possibly be that generational talent that could uplift the OKC Thunder in the future. And me personally, I would say he fits well with the overall team, and it would be fun to watch Shai, gilgeous-alexander, and Cade Cunningham work their magic together on the court at the same time. But the #2 ranked player in ESPN's top 100 for the class of 2020, Cunningham more than lived up to the hype in his one and only season in the NCAA, averaging 20.1 points, 6.2 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 1.6 steals per game on efficient shooting splits of 43.8% from the field and 40% from the three-point land. And he measures at 6'8" and 220 pounds. The 19-year-old has all the physical tools to make an immediate impact at the next level. But what exactly would Cunningham bring to the franchise that selects him? So he's obviously a great player in college. Obviously college and the NBA are different, so we have to see how he could pan out in the NBA. But I guess we could all expect that he's obviously going to be a very great player in the NBA. We have a few of these players that we know are going to be great, and they ultimately turn out to be great, which our prediction always comes out right for that degree. And then we have some of the players that we think are going to be great, and they end up being busts. And Cade Cunningham is not one of those players that will end up being a bust, I don't think. He's going to be a great player in this league in general. And currently the Houston Rockets, they have the best odds of getting the #1 overall pick. But we have seen teams that have the best odds fall in the draft, and other teams that don't have so great of odds jump up in the draft. Perfect example, the New Orleans Pelicans a couple years ago, they had nowhere near the top best odds of getting the #1 overall pick, yet they fell in the #1 overall pick drafting Zion Williamson. Maybe OKC can jump into the draft or up into the draft to get that #1 overall pick, and then they could draft Cade Cunningham, who is projected to be a great talent in this future of the entire NBA league. Starting off with the strengths, Cunningham's size, weight, and length has him built more like a forward, but his skill set has him ready to be a jumbo point guard at the NBA level. So, as you guys may know from past videos of mine, I don't watch college basketball. I don't pay attention to college basketball at all. But I did hear a lot of stories about Cade Cunningham's game, and obviously he's standing at 6'8" at 220 pounds. But I did hear he's that tall of a player that can play the point guard position, as he is very crafty with his dribbles, and he could shoot just like a point guard. He could run and facilitate the offense as fluently as a point guard can, and that's what makes him so versatile, as he could play different positions regarding the point guard, shooting guard, and small forward. And that is great, since we have so many players that are currently greats that are like that. Like LeBron James could play all 5 positions, and he's also 6'8", 6'9", around that range, that could play the point guard very fluently as well. So maybe Cade Cunningham could be another one of those type of players. As a true floor general who commands the pace of the game, Cunningham is fluid and polished in just about everything he does with the ball in his hands. So just like we talked about 2 seconds ago, of course, he is a 6'8" player, 220 pounds, that can play the floor general position just as fluently as any traditional point guard in the league, or potentially an elite point guard such as Chris Paul and Magic Johnson, who are also all-time greats. He's a pick-and-roll maestro as both a playmaker and shot creator with superb awareness to read and take what the defense gives him. He's more than capable of passing out of double teams and traps to set up open teammates, so it's basically giving us more of an idea regarding what he can do at that floor general position. He could shot create for his team, and he could play make, setting up wide open shots or easy shots for his teammates around him. And of course, when he senses the double teams or traps coming, he can always, all the time, 100% of the time, or let me be more realistic, 80% of the time, set up his open teammates to make the easy bucket whenever he's getting double teamed. And that is what you need out of your point guard or any traditional player to win basketball games, of course. And of course, we can't scout a player without having footage of their overall basketball game. So we're obviously going to examine this video to see what Cade Cunningham can do on the court. Let's see. Oh,
Avery Anderson. It just seems like he's happy to settle into the back.
You see, so the double team is coming to them. So look, I'm gonna show you right now. The double team. See, look, both of these players are double teaming them, so that means a player is gonna be wide open. So then he spots the wide open player, gives him the alley-oop, and it leads to an easy 2 points. Great vision on the court for Cade Cunningham, and I assume in other occasions he could shot create for himself to score the easy 2 points for himself. But most of the time, if you're getting double teamed, you're gonna find and spot the wide open teammate, which he did right here. That is great offensive facilitating at its finest. And when the defense doesn't apply enough pressure, he'll beat you by attacking the rim. Let us take a look.
That was a good pass that time.
So this time I'm assuming they're not gonna double team him, and it leads to an easy layup and 1-2. So Cade Cunningham, we already know how big of a player he is. He could play the point guard position. It seems like right here he was trying to run the offense as well, but then he could go get a bucket himself, and that is what he did, since he wasn't applied, or the defense didn't apply enough pressure on him, which leads to an easy 3 points, and I'm assuming he's gonna hit the free throw. Cade Cunningham, you're looking like a stud right now, man. I'm not gonna lie, you're looking like a stud. Or pulling up off the bounce at the 3-point line. We already seen Cade Cunningham facilitate the offense fluently well, and he could finish at the basket extraordinarily. And now we see him create a shot right there, hand up, but the shot wasn't contested enough to have Cade Cunningham miss the shot. So it's great that he could basically do everything on the floor. We haven't seen any defensive highlights of him yet, but we already know he has a great offensive package, and that is essential in today's game, of course. His passing is already advanced, making him a dynamic threat as a true 3-level scorer. He is a confident shooter off the dribble from both 3-point land and mid-range, and he has already worked the patent step-back 3 we're so accustomed to seeing in the NBA into his offensive arsenal. So it basically seems like Cade Cunningham has it all in the offensive side of the game. He could facilitate, pass the ball, finish at the rim, and he could shoot step-back 3s confidently too in the mid-range bucket. Let's watch this video.
Caleb Boone continues to run.
I'm assuming he's about to size up the defender, which he's doing. Size him up, step back 3. Cash shot that ball with confidence too. Cade Cunningham has it all on the offensive side of the game. I wonder what his defense looks like though. He is a bulldozer when driving to the basket with great body control to finish through and around contact, which I could say that is very essential for a player like him to be able to embrace the contact consistently well, since I'm assuming he's going to have a bunch of switches placed onto him, and some of these switches are going to have bigger defenders regarding centers or power forwards, and when he's going to drive into the paint, he's obviously going to want to score the bucket when you're driving to the paint, and obviously a bigger defender on you, or they're probably going to use their size, and it's up to you to basically embrace the contact with players bigger than you to basically score the bucket at a high consistent rate. His wingspan adds another layer to his versatility as a player who should be able to guard multiple positions in the entire league. He's a physical defender with active hands, whether it be filling passing lanes or timing shots for blocks. Cunningham is as ready of a pro prospect as they come. So let me get this straight. Not too long ago, momentarily ago, I was just questioning his defense, but it seems like he has it all on offense and he has it all on defense. So it seems like what I'm reading right here, out of every single thing that I've read, it seems like he's a two-way player, reliable on the offensive game, facilitating and making his own shots, and he could defend extraordinarily well, and it helps with him having a very long wingspan. That's ridiculous, a 7-foot wingspan, and I'm sure he's going to be playing a lot point guard and shooting guard, so maybe if he's guarding somebody or if he's placed on a player smaller than him, then maybe his 7-foot wingspan or his physical defense can bother his defender, as he's going to be a bigger player than most, filling in for that point guard or shooting guard position, of course. But let's move on to the weaknesses, man. As great as Cunningham is with the ball in his hands, with a usage rate of 29%, we didn't get to see him play without the ball in his hands much during his one collegiate season. He is certainly an offensive initiator, but depending on the situation he is selected into, it'll be interesting to see what type of damage he could do off the ball as a catch and shoot shooter or cutter. So basically this paragraph is saying that Cunningham is a very ball dominant player and can't contribute to the game of basketball as much without the ball in his hands, which I feel like can be an easy fix, but you have to consider that since he's so accustomed with having the ball in his hands all the time, it may take some time to adjust to the role of being an off the ball player, catch and shoot or cutters or such and such like that, since he's already accustomed to having one game. But I feel like Cunningham has what it takes to adjust to that game at times, to play that position at times, since he already has the fundamentals of being a great shooter already, and he can basically cut to the basket and use his great finishing skills around the basket that he already has to basically contribute to the game of basketball like that. And if the OKC Thunder manages to draft Cunningham, he's going to be playing along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and other great players, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is obviously the best player, and Shai can take the pressure off of Cunningham facilitating wise and scoring wise, as he can do basically the same thing. And since he has another player coming, or since he's paired alongside with another player like that, then maybe Cunningham can contribute to the game of basketball being an off-the-ball player. Obviously, he's going to have to play that role to be more accustomed to performing that role in the future, which should be an easy fix like I've already said earlier. He changes speed well as a ball handler, but he's not super shifty or explosive, often relying on his size to bully his way to the basket in the NCAA. Expanding his bag of tricks as a dribbler will only help make up for what he lacks in burst. So, already reading this, I'm not super worried about this weakness at all. You don't really have to be super shifty or explosive to contribute greatly at the point guard or shooting guard position. Like you already said, he relies on his size, but Why not rely on your size since you're playing in a position that you're most likely going to be playing against other point guards or shooting guards that you're bigger than? So really, realistically speaking, you don't always have to be super shifty or explosive to dominate in the game of basketball. As a defender, he will have to get quicker to keep up with some of the faster guards in the league. So yeah, I can see that happening too. So like we already said numerous amount of times, being that he's a 6'8" player that could play the point guard and shooting guard role, he's a little bit of a big player. So assuming that he's going to be assigned on to other point guards and shooting guards in the league who are potentially going to be smaller than him, they're obviously going to be most likely faster than him, and it's going to ultimately make Cade Cunningham a defensive liability sometimes. But maybe he could get into the gym to work on some defensive intangibles to help him with his speed and lateral quickness on the defensive end of the ball to dominate in that position as well. So with that being said, we basically analyzed this entire scouting report of Cade Cunningham. We basically got a general idea as to what Cunningham could do on the court. Projected NBA draft position, we already discussed that he's going to be projected as the #1 overall pick. Projected NBA role, playmaking floor general, franchise cornerstone. We already discussed this too, in a sense. Shades of Luka Doncic and Jimmy Butler. I can see Luka Doncic since he can create his own shot off the step back, facilitate the offense consistently, and he's going to be projected as a franchise cornerstone, just like Luka Doncic is for the Dallas Mavericks. And Jimmy Butler, I can see that too, since the details did express how he's very intensified on the defensive end of the ball game, and he could contribute to the offensive side of the ball game too. So overall, Cade Cunningham, he looks like he could do some damage in the future of this entire league. I'm assuming he's going to be the rookie of the year next season, but only time will tell. But other than that, that will end today's video. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Cade Cunningham will end up being drafted by the OKC Thunder? If so, how well will he fit with the overall team? And do you guys think the Cunningham hype is justified? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm out. Peace.